Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. This week we're doing something a little different. We're reviewing X-Men Interactive Comic Book. I got a few of these during the COVID spree of 1920 when I got a bunch of money. And so I got like three or four of these, and I planned on flipping them. I don't know if I sold one or not, but I kept one. Actually, this one has a little mouse bite out of it. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own artwork. This is Random Access, and you can get this by joining my Patreon for $3 a month. You also get a sticker, and it's a full size, full color, 12-page comic book. And like I said, you can just get this by joining my Patreon, Patreon.com. I don't know if that was right. But you can also get them at alexanderturbin.com. And you can also get Mutandis and all the random accesses and Forlorn and all the different artwork that I do. Or you could just message me at Instagram at alexturbin0441 at instagram.com. So I'm going to be reviewing this today, and now that I've almost hit 300 subscribers, I invite you to contact me if you have a comic book and you want it reviewed or looked at. I'm going to start reviewing friends' comics and people online that I know and stuff. So maybe not so much review as just kind of going over and promoting their work. That'll be sometime next week, I think. But let's get into X-Men, the interactive comic. So like I said, I opened one up, and I'm not going to open this one up because I still kind of want to sell it. You get the comic book, a poster. It's called the activity set. And you get these, I don't know what these even are. But it says the set contains 6 Marvel Power pop-ups. That must be what these are, maybe. One stick to them stamp sheet, an awesome fold-out Spider-Man poster that you can color, and a special edition Spider-Man comic book to color along with the pros, and a rub-off window web shooter game set. So I don't know what all that is. I did open it, and I can't remember what I did with all the stuff. But I'm here about the comic book inside, and I kind of want to just go through that and see what that's all about. So you get that in the set. Apparently, this is part 2 or part 3. It has all of these different icons, so they must have made a comic book set for each of them. And I haven't looked them up or anything. If anybody has any of those, just give us a holler and let me know what you think of them, and if they're if they're cool or whatever. I may look for them, I may not, I don't know, because this starts off, it's the X-Men issue, and there must be one for each of all of them that lead into the next one. But like I said, this right here, it says that it's in alternate universe X-Men. So I'm basically thinking that this is from the cartoon, but I'm trying to remember the Phoenix Saga from the X-Men cartoon, and I don't remember it going this way. If anybody else can remember it, let us know. I did start to rewatch the X-Men cartoon before X-Men 97 came out, but I didn't get very far. I can't remember if I've watched every single episode. I've watched so many of them, but I'm definitely going to get back to watching every episode that I can. And I'm eager to watch all of the X-Men 97s because I really, truly love them, and they're great. So basically, this is an X-Men comic, but it also has blacked out pages or non-color pages, and you're supposed to color them as you go along reading it or something like that. And there's also some worksheets in the back that we'll get to. So it starts off at Banshee's home, but he's not part of this team. So they're just there. And I don't know if Moira is there or not. But I guess Lilandra had been attacked by Eric the Red, I think. I think that's what happens. She was attacked by Eric the Red, and the X-Men stopped him and protected her. And I really kind of think this is a just an alternate version of what happened actually in the X-Men cartoon, which is an alternate version of what happened in the X-Men comics. So you have the X-Men saying that they're going to protect Lilandra, who is trying to escape from her brother. Her brother is looking for the Macran crystal, which is supposed to be the biggest power source in the world, or in the universe, actually. And Phoenix came in. They were fighting Eric the Red, I think, and they were losing. But then Phoenix came in and blew Eric the Red away. I think that's what happened, and that's pretty much what happened in the cartoon, isn't it? So then they come running along. The X-Men. Actually, yeah, Lilandra and Professor Xavier are there, and Eric the Red is going to take them captive or kill them or whatever. And Phoenix shows up before the X-Men, and then the X-Men show up later on. So that's how the timeline goes. But so they're talking about the Macran crystal, and Phoenix says she's going to take off and take some of the X-Men with her to fight the Emperor Lilandra's brother and try to save the Macran crystal from him. So she teleports herself and some of the X-Men onto the what's it called? The Starjammer. No. She teleports her and them onto Lilandra's ship. And then they're there on the ship, and Lilandra is showing them the Macran crystal, and then they're attacked by the Starjammers. And this, there's a couple things. Like, it's written like the cartoon, not as much as the comic. It's not written by Chris Claremont. It's written by Ralph Macchio, and who knew that he could write comic books and also star as the Karate Kid. But anyway, I digress. The Starjammers attack the X-Men and Lilandra's ship, and they kind of go woozy. But then they show up, and they're going to try to steal the Macran crystal. And so a fight ensues because they're knocked for a loop, but the X-Men recover fairly quickly, and they just start a fight with the Starjammers. And so Chiod swaps Rogue away, which is wrong because Rogue is so much stronger than Chiod's supposed to be. But then the Beast attacks Hepzibah, and she's like the same thing. She kind of whips on him, and then Cyclops tries to fight what's his name, his father there, and he just gets his butt kicked. So the Starjammers are just destroying the X-Men everywhere there is, because that's how X-Men goes. They always get the butt kicks first and then come back and kick ass later on. So he steals the Macran crystal, and he also steals Cyclops, which Jean goes into Starjammer's head. What's his name? Corsair. Goes in Corsair's head and finds out that he's really the father of Cyclops. And so I'm going to stop right here. Wolverine says, still too shaky to nab that dime store Captain Blood, which is just something he would not say. He would especially not say this. And he's making off with our daring deputy leader. If that's not something, maybe Stan Lee looked this over and was like, I got to put some Stan Lee-isms into this, because Wolverine would never say deputy or daring deputy leader. What is going on with this comic book? But anyway, she finds out that he's Cyclops' father, and she keeps it to herself. So then Lilandra's brother and the Guardian and Eric the Red, they all come back to the Imperial ship, and he's all pissed off that they didn't get the Macran crystal or his sister or anything like that. So, but Corsair comes back in a hologram, and he has the crystal, and he says he's going to give him the crystal, and he's also going to give him Cyclops. And the Imperial leader is obviously crazy, so he's like, okay, I'll take it for half of the money that the whole Imperial Shi'ar coffers. So he's going to get like, a gazillion, trillion dollars, whatever half of the Imperial coffer is. So he makes a deal, and he tells the Guardian that as soon as he gets the Macran crystal for the Guardian to kill Corsair and everybody else, and Corsair and the Guardian is very honorable. I would really love a Guardian and his son comic book because I think they are awesome. I mean, he's obviously a Superman ripoff, but he looks so cool with his mohawk, and his son, his kid guardian or whatever he is. He is really awesome. He was in Wolverine and the X-Men, and that was a great series. But I'll probably go through that too because I'm gonna go through a bunch of X-Men stuff. So Cyclops is waking up in Corsair, and they're talking about what they're gonna do. And Corsair's angry at the Emperor for killing his wife, and he wants to kill the Emperor. So he wants Cyclops to blast him with his beams as soon as he gives him the Macran crystal and kill him. Cyclops obviously doesn't kill because he's part of the X-Men, and and so he says, I'm not going to do it, but I can cause a diversion so you can do it, which is, kind of the same thing as killing him. So there you go. There's another faux pas by this writer. So Ralph Macchio. I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff that he's written. So I know that he's an editor. So if anybody else knows of anything that he's written, please let me know in the comments. Or I could just look it up online, but I'd much rather hear from you guys. So the X-Men are talking about what they're going to do. So they show up on the Imperial ship at the same time that, or they go to the Imperial ship, next scene, and Corsair's there with the Macran crystal and with Cyclops. And he gets the Macran crystal, and he says, Guardian, kill him. And Guardian, he's doesn't like it, but he's going to do it anyway. But he also has the Imperial Army, or the Imperial Guard, and they're supposed to take care of the X-Men. But Phoenix shows up, teleports there, does her Phoenixy stuff, and really the Imperial Guard is the X-Men in disguise. Bum bum bum. I don't know if I like all of this color and then these just panels of non-color. I think I like it if there's a whole panel that's not color for the little kids to color. But having a panel inside a panel and it's just black and white, kind of throws me off. So the X-Men are there, and Corsair wants to kill the Imperial Guard, the Imperial leader, rather. And so he knocks out over this vasey thingy that was supposed to hold the Macran crystal. And Phoenix and Cyclops are talking while Corsair and the Emperor fight. But it's really not the Emperor because he knew there was going to be a double cross for the double cross, and it's really a shapeshifter. So the shapeshifter and Corsair fight, and Rogue and one of the other real Imperial guards, they go into it, and she smashes them in the face. See, I'm of the opinion when Rogue or any super strong person smashes somebody in the face, like that should, knock their head clean off and decapitate them. So I'm going to make a comic someday where somebody has the superpowers and they actually, when they use it, it actually shows, Spider-Man hitting Dr. Octopus in the head should snap his neck and he should be dead. But anyway, I digress. So there's more panels of them fighting, the X-Men fighting the Imperial Guard, which is always cool. Wolverine and this dude. I think the Imperial Guard, along with X-Men, were characters that Dave Cockrum created for DC to be part of the Legion of Superheroes. So it's really unusual and it's cool that like Nightcrawler and all of these other characters did get a spot in the X-Men where DC said, no, we don't want them. So really the whole thing of the X-Men becoming who they are is because of DC not wanting Dave Cockrum's art in the Legion of Superheroes, which is, very fortuitous for the rest of the universe, because I cannot imagine the X-Men in the DC universe. I shudder to think. I shudder to think. So they fight. Corsair, Guardian grabs Lilandra, and the X-Men are kind of knocked down, and Cyclops finally unleashes a beam of pulsating force, but nothing happens, I guess. So the Emperor grabs the Macran crystal, and he's going to use it to do whatever dastardly deed that he's going to do. But then the Phoenix swoops in, and she uses her Phoenixy power and sucks the Emperor into the Macran crystal, and he's trying to get out, I guess. It's actually to be continued, so I don't know where it's to be continued to, and I don't know where it's to be continued from. I'm gonna have to look at some of these, maybe on eBay or whatever, and see if I can find a Fantastic Four interactive comic book or a Spider-Man interactive comic book or something like that. Excuse me. So then it just kind of ends. It's to be continued, where the Macran crystal has the Emperor inside it, and he's trying to get out. So then there's these other cool choose your weapons. I guess you're supposed to draw a line from the weapon or item that goes from each person. Like Doctor Strange would go to the magic amulet, the Eye of Amagato. Why can't they just call it the Eye of Amagato? And they call it hammer instead of Mjolnir. And they just say shield and surfboard. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I could do that. So then there's also the height. I'm pretty sure that these are Jim Lee pictures. And so there's the height of the X-Men. Usually it's 7 feet, but the superheroes are 8 feet, 8 heads high. As you all probably know, a figure is so many heads high, and that's how the proportion is. You're supposed to match the heads with the characters, which is pretty cool. And it actually goes into some how to draw the Marvel way, where they have these cylindrical things and in a stick figure way in which to draw Sabretooth. And then you're supposed to kind of put that into drawing Iron Man and Phoenix and Juggernaut and stuff. And it's just a lot of different ways. These panels are way too small. They should have been bigger if they actually want people to draw. And then you've got a maze, which is pretty cool. And they actually call it Mjolnir. And a word search. Here's some more Arthur Adams this time. So they do have some different art, which is pretty cool. And a crossword puzzle, which is, although it gives you a lot, it's a hint, but it's for kids, so it's pretty cool. And you've got the answers in the back. So, this is pretty cool. An advertisement for Amalgam. So it's actually a pretty cool comic. I'm glad I have it as an X-Men collector, but unless you're super into X-Men, I would probably pass on it. So like I said, it's written by Ralph Macchio. Pencilers are John Herbert and Jerry Bingham. And the inkers are Todd Christopher and Mike Witherby. And the colorist is Matt Webb. The writing and the art is, this is a little trinket, a little, it's not a giveaway, but it's not a regular monthly comic. That goes into a completely different category than your regular monthly comic. This is completely, something they sold at KB Toy or Toys R Us or whatever. And so you're not going to, give it the same kind of weight as a regular X-Men comic, as a regular Chris Claremont or Jim Lee drawn comic or John Romita Jr. It simply is not the same quality and depth of those books. As I've been saying, and what I'm really kind of gonna get into more is the artistry of comics and the higher planes of consciousness that you can get to with really great comic books, and the things that it can do to you in your mind, in your soul, in your psyche, that regular standard comics that don't have that kind of higher echelon of artistry and drama. It's the artistry and the drama when they mix together. They become a perfect blend of everything. I mean, there's so many times, like if you look back and you remember Rorschach when he's investigating the crime scene and he finds the little girl's clothing, and then the whole thing where he's looking through the cupboards and he's finding all this stuff, and then the guy comes home and the dogs, and he's killed the dogs. I mean, or the cogs are falling. Just that whole artistry and drama intertwined into this really great, fantastic, um, greatest thing that you can think of. Magic. It becomes magic. So this is not the same thing. This is, I'm not going to say it's haphazard. I'm not going to say the artists didn't try their hardest, because, this is actually really pretty good. You can tell they're trying to be Jim Lee. They're trying to draw in that style. The little ticks, the little feathering ticks, and the way it's done. But it's not bad. In no way, shape, or form is the drawing or the writing, really, for that matter, bad. The writing is very much akin to the animated show and not the comics, like I said. So it's going that way, and it's perfectly good. And the drawing, like I said, is perfectly good. There's some really good parts to it. When the Emperor tells the Guardian to kill them, he really does not want to do it, and that really shows the quality of the writing and the art. Even though this is just kind of a haphazard slapdash kind of thing that they're selling for little kids to do whatever they want to do. So it's pretty cool. I love it. I like it as an X-Men fan, as an X-Men collector. I'm definitely glad I have it. If you're not, I would skip it. I might try to find the other ones just because I'm also a collector, and I like to have a whole set of something until I have the whole set, and then I want to sell it. But anyway, X-Men Interactive Comic. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing, hitting the notification bell, giving me a thumbs up if you like this kind of stuff. If you like this, if you have this and you like it, let me know. If you have it and you don't like it and you think it's a worthless trash, I still want to know. Hey, it even has the Comics Code Authority. So yeah, if I was going to give this a rating, which I don't really, because I don't think of it as a real comic book. It's not a real comic book. It's something different. I don't know what we would call it. But if I was going to give this I would give it a 6. Yeah, I would give it a 6. None of the characters are really my X-Men. I showed you that part where Wolverine talks about his dashing leader or whatever. It was something Wolverine would never ever say in a whole million years. But I still enjoyed it, and so I'm going to give this a 6. Because it's competent. It's competent writing. It's competent art. So that's pretty much my baseline for a 6. So let me know if you guys like this, and I will see you guys next time. Oh, and also if you have your own comic and you want it reviewed or looked at, then leave me a message or look me up on Instagram, and I will be happy to get a copy of your book and go through it with all of the fans. Okay, I will talk to you guys later, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.